When we talk about early detection, how do
Hmm.
you think that played a role in your diagnosis and your outcome?
I think, I was looking back at my records and I think my cancer was stage 2.
Mhm.
So it wound up being 7.5 centimeters, which is, it's a good size. So I think early detection probably saved my life.
Yeah.
Um, I try not to think too hard on it because, I'll just break down. I've got 2 kids, 5 and 6, and I just can't imagine had I not caught this. One of our senior firefighters, his wife was not as lucky and they didn't catch it in time, and now it's in her brain and in her organs, and it just once it hits those lymph nodes, it goes
Yeah.
like wildfire, and it's terrifying. Um, so it's so important to talk about it and to pay attention to your body, and if something's wrong, to ask. And I actually saw the NP who did my exam last year and got me in for the mammogram, and she had no idea what I'd been through after that, just because there's a bit of a disconnect once you go into the oncology side. I had to thank her because I hear these horror stories of people, something's wrong, calling their doctor, calling the hospital, and being told, oh, it's fine, we'll see you in 3 months, we'll see you in this. And I just told her, thank you so much. You had me in the next day, and
Yeah.
and that probably played a big role as well because it
Yeah.
was clear something was happening, something
Mhm.
was changing, and we got it out, and it's
And I think trusting your gut too, like you
mhm.
knew something
Yep.
wasn't right. Maybe you didn't know for sure exactly what it is because you don't have X-ray vision, but you knew and you
Yeah.
followed your gut. And I
Hmm.
think that's one of the things that when we talk about behavior change and making sure that people put themselves first
Yep.
is understanding that trusting your gut and knowing yourself, you know yourself better than anybody else does. You're with yourself 24/7. And so knowing yourself and trusting that and acting on it, I think is the best lesson any of us can learn.
And that ties back to firefighting too, because that's why we have RIT teams to go in after our own, because we know that we have to be able to take care of us, because if we can't take care of us, we can't take care of the people we need to help.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so that's a mentality you have to have.
Hmm.
Um, and as women too, how often do we let our own health take the back seat and just be like, I'll deal with that later? We're going a mile a minute. We've got 4,000 balls in the air that we're juggling. And that one has to be a glass ball. I don't know. In AmeriCorps, we had, there's the rules and certain things are glass balls where, some of the rules are rubber. You drop it, it bounces up, but there's certain ones that are glass balls that if you drop it, it breaks and it's never coming back. And
Yeah.
our health is one of those. Family
That's a
health.
great way to describe it. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
The glass ball that you can't drop it.
No,
Yeah,
no.
and you nailed it too. Women tend to put their health behind everything else. You have 2 young kids running around and trying to do everything. You're a firefighter, you work full time.
Yeah.
You have a lot of family obligations on top of that. And so knowing that you have to put the mask on yourself first
Hmm.
before you can take care of everybody else is really important. So I'm glad you did that. I'm happy we're here having this conversation. Thank you, Kara, for having the conversation. I know nobody ever wants to join the club and be the one that's having the conversation, but when you do and you share your story with people, it helps.
You know,
Absolutely.
I agree. I'm a pretty private person. Usually wouldn't share stuff like this, but my friend shared it in her Christmas card, and that's what prompted me. So, I felt an not an obligation, but a responsibility. And when I shared my story, I had 5, 6, 7 people pull me aside and be like, I scheduled my mammogram because of your post.
It's
And
fantastic.
that's worth every second.